Hey, episode 23 of Grief Talks with Noel. Thank you so much for checking me out again tonight and just tuning in so you can see what we're going to discuss tonight. There's only two more episodes remaining after tonight, 23, 24, 25, and then that will be it for production as far as Grief Talks with Noel goes, the video component. I'm not going to take this channel down. I see no reason why I'll do that. But I want to leave it here as a constant resource for you. You've been with me on this journey the whole time, and I really appreciate it. And I just want to continue to be available to help you. We are in this thing together. I cannot say it enough. You are not alone. This is the hardest thing ever, and you need support. And I've been honored for those of you who have been with me since day one, or those that jumped in halfway, or whatever. Like, as long as you're here, I'm happy that you're here because it's showing that you're interested in crawling forward. We're not running forward, we're not moving forward at breakneck speed. Of course not. We are very slowly, as I often say, sweeping up the pieces of our fragmented lives and our broken hearts and trying to make sense of this new nonsense world. This world does not make sense, and we're trying our best to trudge through it. So thank you for holding my hand, and I've been holding yours as well as we try to, figure it out together. I'm not a professional. I do not have all the answers, but I do believe that I have a divinely inspired plan for how to help people and myself. I hope you'll tell someone about this channel. I'm very proud of the content I present every single week, and I just hope that you'll share it with someone. This, unfortunately, will be a business that will always be relevant. And by business, I just mean like a service that will always be relevant because people will always need grief support. Unfortunately, people are always leaving this earth, leaving this world, and there are always going to be people who are hurting as a result of loss. So it's always going to be a thing. So I plan to leave this channel up for as long as possible so I can always help people. And I hope that you'll help me help people. If I've helped you, I hope that you will pass the news on about this channel to someone else. And yeah, so after this channel, I'll be moving on to other things, grief support related things, and I'll tell you more about that in episode 25. Next week, we have a very special episode planned, and it's going to feature faces other than my own. It won't just be me next week. You'll see some other faces. Not next week, actually. The 15th. I'll talk more about that later, though. But you'll see other faces as well, not just mine. Although I know you've grown accustomed to this face. Even though I know I look different right now, some of you are probably like, every single week, you never know what I'm going to look like. What I'm going to look like. But I decided to, with the final 3 episodes, I decided to actually let my real hair out to play. So congratulations. Merry Christmas. Anyway, tonight's episode is called Legacy. Legacy is a word that I'm sure many of us have heard, and certainly as we're processing the loss of our loved one, that word has probably, made an appearance in our lives a lot. And it can have a very daunting, very looming, almost ominous effect or connotation to it. But it doesn't have to be that way. One of the most simple definitions, of legacy is a thing passed on by a predecessor, or a thing left behind even by a predecessor. So I get a visual in my mind. Sometimes I'm a very visual person as well as auditory, and I literally see like someone almost running in a marathon and passing a baton on to someone else. Legacy is literally something that is passed on from one person to another. So that can be as big or as simple as you want it to be. When you ask yourself, what is the legacy of my fallen loved one? All you've really got to do is figure out who that person was. And hopefully you know him or her well enough to know who they were. What moved them? What got them out of bed every single day? What were they passionate about? What did they pour themselves into? What did they spend time doing? Figure that out. And then that is that person's legacy. That is what you are now tasked with. The baton has been passed, and now you have the task of carrying that out. Doesn't mean you have to do it the same exact way they did, but in a way to honor them. It's your responsibility, if you choose to accept it, to carry on that baton to carry on their legacy in some way, shape, or form. You might have to resculpt it and kind of, whittle the baton a little bit, whatever you've got to do to make it your own and to feel comfortable doing it. Do that. But the most important thing is that you do not drop the baton. If you really love this person, you won't even think about dropping the baton. If you've got to reshape it to fit your life, to fit your hand, even better. Maybe their baton was too big. You got to cut it down a little bit, or it was too small. You got to add to it, whatever. Whatever you have to do so that the baton fits your hand, do that. And then carry on their legacy. You know them well enough to know what fueled them. For example, my father, my amazing father, was a tremendous teacher and preacher and orator and life coach and business training professional and workshop facilitator. In other words, he loved pouring knowledge onto people. That's what he did. He loved pouring knowledge onto people in various ways, shapes, and forms. So when I first got the idea to do this channel, I knew this is a way that I can carry on my father's legacy. He loved pouring knowledge onto people, so I can do the same thing. As I'm figuring it out myself, I can share with people what I've been learning. I can try to connect with people, and in that way, thus, hopefully, inspiring them to be better. Like, legacy is meant to make people better. So I hope that when you figure it out, what your loved one, what their legacy is, you'll use it to help other people get better. What's the point of getting the baton and then, putting it in a box, not sharing it with the world? No, you're supposed to get that baton and keep running. Set the world on fire. Let everybody know who your loved one was. Like, you have a responsibility to tell everyone who this person was. The world needs to know how fabulous your loved one was. And it's your responsibility, should you choose to accept, to tell them, to tell the world. Now, everybody's not going to accept this task. Daunting and simple it is at the same time. Everybody's not going to accept it. But it only takes one person to carry a message. That's it. One person can start a rumor, and one person can take the legacy of a fallen loved one and share it with the world. Use it to make the world a better place. My absolute all-time favorite musical is Hamilton. I made reference to it last week too. And tomorrow, the Hamill film comes out. No, not tomorrow. Friday. The Hamill film comes out on Disney+. Anyway, but in Hamilton, the character Alexander Hamilton, after being shot by Aaron Burr, he's going through like this epiphany kind of thing, and he says, legacy. What is legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. Wow. That's so simple, but so profound at the same time. Our loved ones who have passed on have planted the seeds, but they don't get to see the garden grow. We are the garden, but even in that, not every seed takes root. So there may not be some seeds may not even sprout or may not sprout right now. But if you're a seed who has sprouted, and if you're watching this, you probably are, it's your responsibility to try your best to spread their legacy, to share their legacy with the world, to start a whole new line of fruit, to germinate the rest of the row or whatever you can do. Maybe the original seeds or whatever didn't sprout or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they'll sprout later. Who knows? They're late bloomers. I don't know. But you can take your influence, your message, and share it with the world. Let the world know who your loved one was. It only takes one match to start a fire. So you can be the match that sets the world on fire with the love of your loved one, with the legacy of love, the loving legacy of your loved one. You can do that. It only takes one seed, one match to get things going. So I hope that you'll accept the responsibility, not be afraid of it. Don't be, overwhelmed by it. Certainly don't put the baton in a box and bury it. Don't do that. I hope that you will accept this charge to share the splendor of your loved one. Even those things that they didn't get to do, maybe. You know, maybe your loved one had some dreams that, they didn't really get to, the seeds in the garden they didn't get to see. Like, like they had something they wanted to do, but they couldn't do it. Maybe you're going to be the one to carry that part on. I hope so. Because you owe it to them. If you love them, you owe it to them to keep them immortal through the perpetuation of their legacy. Yeah. So let those seeds grow. Plant new ones. I'm not really a gardener. Maybe that's why I wore green. Oh, because I'm talking about gardening and stuff. Huh. But anyway, let those seeds grow. Plant new ones as needed. And above all, perpetuate their legacy. Take that thing that they've passed on to you and run with it. Set the world on fire with their influence and their legacy. Episode 23, all done for today. Okay, so I'll be off next week on the 8th. I'll be back on the 15th because I need to kind of wean myself off of this. I've been doing this for 7 months and I got to kind of get it in my head that I'm transitioning out of this now. So I'll be off next week, the 8th, but I will be back on July 15th. And on July 15th, I have a special episode planned and it will feature faces other than mine. That's all I'm telling you. You got to come back and see what's going on July 15th. So I will see you then. In the meantime, make sure that you are being seeds, you're being fruitful seeds that are producing, bountiful blossoms in the garden of your loved one's legacy. And also, let's keep chatting. No, that's wrong. Let's keep talking. See you on the 15th. Okay, bye.